All right, we're gonna finish the nano section of the Mujin video.
This section.
Oh, it's an hour dedicated, by the way. That's why I said like we might as well just do nanos today. I want to be done with the Sinder drama. Is the kid gonna join? No, I don't think he can. With my internet being shitty, he can't. Are we ready, chat? Is everybody here and locked in? Chat's like, please, no. No, Annie, no, no, because I did say I was going to react to this. Yo, also people on Twitter. I know Twitter is like the worst place to go to. Someone told me to move on from this, and I was like, bro, but it's Mujin. Like, what? It's Mujin. How do I move on? It's Mujin. Like, what the fuck? Someone told me to move on. I was like, but it's Mujin. I like watching him. What the fuck? And then someone said, I wouldn't watch it. No one at this point is going to change their mind. The Pyro Pups and all the normal people that have moved on and those still screaming into the void can't really be reasoned with. Everyone was telling me to move on, basically. And I was just like, okay, well, I want to react to it because it's Mujin and I really do enjoy Mujin. And he always like dumbs it down. You know what I mean? He always dumbs it down. It's really nice. Thank you for the raid. How is your stream?
Would be around 205.
All right, chat.
When Nanoless, otherwise known as Nano,
lock in, okay? Lock in.
Would post her document about Sinder. Let's head to her section in the document. This section would be around 203 pages, one of the more lengthier ones of this document. It would start off with Sinder posting the tweet that Nanoless had made and saying this. Nano's document claimed both Red and I manipulated, used, and dragged her into drama, while slandering multiple VTubers, including our friends. These claims were the basis for everything else publicly released afterwards, documents from half a dozen people and many others tweeting their grievances with me. It all hinged on Nano's document being posted and its validity. When I wrote my initial apology in April 2025, I said I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nano's commission decisions. When I wrote this poorly worded sentence, I hadn't seen any of these DMs. I was in a panic and didn't think Nano would be lying about anything. But now that I've read Red's DMs myself, I can say that Nano was not manipulated, abused, used, lied to, mistreated, expected to take action over any drama she was told about, or incapable of making her own decisions regarding her commissions and clientele. She was never forced to do or not do anything, has always been in control of her own choices, and always had the ability to say no. She was met with understanding and faced no repercussions professionally or personally from either of us when she did. Nano's messages were read, were deceitfully presented to push a narrative that never happened. I don't believe Nano ever showed the full context of her messages with Red to my friends. Her claims were backed by Shy Lily, and I believe they were misled into blindly supporting her. Nano was a close friend who we respected, and was a massive part of my own success. I've only ever praised her, privately and publicly. There was nothing she could do for me to hold anything against her or choose to stop working with her. Red and I always encouraged Nano to do what was best for her, not us. Red, who handled our plans with her, made sure to work around her schedule, push projects back if she needed more time on them or to take a break, and give her first priority on projects she was interested in. He trusted her, and the extent he lied to her about the other people involved was in telling her his own genuine thoughts, observations, and experiences with them as he knew them, the same way my accusers did to the public with how they assumed how Red and I had to have operated together. The claim that Red and I worked to sabotage projects Nano had is a lie. We both would praise her for the work she did for other people, and I've always celebrated.
When I read this part of the document, chat, the conclusion that I got, right, was Nano sucks. I just wouldn't work with Nano. You know what I mean? I think, in my opinion, if I was to work with like this artist and they were talking shit about me, but wanting to work with me, yeah. I don't think that's like, I don't know. I think that's like very inappropriate. You know what I mean? I don't know, man.
And supported new Nano model siblings when they debuted. Even if Red was really asking Nano to cancel every model she had, it was ultimately still her choice to do it or not. But all of the blame for her actions was somehow put on me. This next paragraph is in purple because it's going to be mentioned multiple times over the document. I don't see a reason to read it. And should continue, we've worked with Nano for 4 years. She is an incredible artist who I've treasured working alongside for my entire career. I put my faith in her at the start when we were both much smaller creators, and she saved me from a year-long struggle to get my first model, and she's been with me every step of my journey since. I wanted Nano to be a part of anything she could, and chose to make her artwork the backbone of my brand. I love and appreciate every single thing she's done for me, and I'm proud of everything I've been able to do for her. In April, I believe Nano found herself in a situation she couldn't back out of, and then chose to do what would result in the most beneficial outcome for herself: hide the truth. Below are a large portion of Nano's DMs with Red and I over the past 2.5 years that show any situations brought up in Nano's document in full context. show the relationship we had with her, how she felt about us and other people involved in everything, and any other relevant conversations that weren't included in what was posted to the public. I've also included some of my own messages with her and some messages with other people. Some of these DMs are repeated and included in the following sections of this document. Nano's profile picture is different in some of these screenshots because of them being taken at different times throughout making this document. So yeah, as I said in the beginning, this document was written over not weeks, but most likely months. All right, this took a long time to make.
Okay.
The first thing that would take place in this document would be on the 23rd of January 2023. During this time, Red would be asking Nano not to work with Spite, another VTuber sharing a similar design to Sinder who debuted and was a content creator before her. Red would only tell Sinder about this after the fact. She claims that she didn't know, and yet, when he actually told her, she was completely okay with it. She didn't really express any opposition. Cinder would then say that, interestingly enough, these DMs were not included in Nano's or Spite's documents at all back during April 2025.
Okay.
She asks why, and then says, since they didn't say anything about it, I chose not to either. I lied about not knowing about Red's conversations with Nano about Spite to try and...
What?
I lied about not knowing about Red's conversations with Nano about Spite to try and not make things worse for myself. But I still accidentally alluded to it because of the state I was in. She's referring to the apology she made back in April, saying, once again, I had no involvement or knowledge of Red bringing up Spite to Nano in 2023. My only personal involvement with excluding someone specific from working with Nano was Silver. So obviously this is a pretty big revelation. I thought the apology back in April 2025 was horrendous. I didn't hide that at all. It was very badly written. It was very sporadic. I mean, it was clear that she was in very bad mental headspace, but I really didn't think that it could get worse, and it somehow just did. Yeah, she straight up lied.
Damn, so you lied about knowing or not knowing? Oh my fucking god, bro. Is this supposed to be her way of like admitting like, yeah, I lied? This is weird. Wait, I lied about not knowing about Red's conversation with Nano about Spite to try not make things worse for myself, but I accidentally alluded to it because of the state I was in. Does she apologize for it though? I need to know. When did they talk about Spite? Oh, when do they talk about Spite? I'm so confused. Don't tell me that I need to like watch like, oh my god, I have to watch towards all the way to the end just to get to Spite's. Oh my fucking god, bro. Chat, please remember this, okay? We all need to remember this, that she lied about not knowing about Red's conversation with Nano and about Spite to try and make things worse for herself. Are you fucking kidding me? Wait, is this actually like how it's like formed in the fucking document? Hold on. Detective mode. Detective mode. Yeah, bro. Oh my god. Holy shit, dude. You actually like have to like... It is at the end. How long is her pages though? 95.
Yes, it's bad even if you were to look at this objectively. Red would comment in the document saying Cinder was upset over what we both thought was Spite copying her. I saw Spite interacting with Nano, possibly with the intent of trying to work with her. This was the logic.
Wow.
And would then say, I've never talked about Spite with any other artist, and I'm sorry that I asked this of Nano. So this overall gives us a good idea about how even back in January 2023, both Red and Cinder displayed paranoia in regards to others.
Wow.
Cinder would search up the name Spite.
That's fucking crazy though. That's insane.
Both Red and Cinder displayed paranoia in regards to others. Cinder would search up the name Spite in her DMs.
I'm over here like paranoid because I hate attention and I hate... Oh my god, I started tweaking out. Chad, I was tweaking out yesterday. Oh my god. I was tweaking out yesterday, guys. I was tweaking out yesterday, man. Oh my god, I was tweaking out. I said, guys, what if I hide away here and throw away my main because low-key I'm starting to get paranoid. Oh my god, I have been like hiding on my alt account on my phone because like turn of who the IRS. Wow, Bao made you that scared. I hate attention. I explained it in a Discord server. I said I already live in a glass house. You know what I mean? I already live in a glass house in a sense of I'm very honest. Because of like how honest I am or the way that I am as a person, I feel like there's not much to hide. You know what I mean? There's not really much to how I am as a person and how I look at other people as well. You know what I mean? People that are like very like authentic and stuff like that. I think that they live in a glass house in the sense of people just watch from the outside. And I said, it's just very paranoid to be in a glass house and have so many more people to just watch from the outside. And I go, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I just don't ever expect to get noticed. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, fuck.
Nano to prove that she had never spoken to her about it, that it was only Red that mentioned her. The next few pages in this document would be just very normal, uneventful conversations between Red and Nano. This was in an effort to show us that Red and Nano only spoke respectfully to each other, and that Red was very accommodating to her, regardless of whether she needed to change around schedules or couldn't finish something on time. There will be around half a dozen pages of this. But then we'd find ourselves back right where we started. This paranoia that Red had displayed about Spite on January 2023 would actually continue in May 2023, and this time it would be about Silvervale. Red would ask Nano about when she made Silvervale's first model because him and Sinder was starting to grow suspicious that it had to do with Sinder in her debut a couple months earlier. Their logic was that Nano wasn't well known as a model artist in the summer of 2022, and had only done 3 models at that point, including Sinder's. So this was them pretty much implying that they thought she was copying Sinder because Sinder was doing so good, right? There's going to be more about this topic and way more in Silver's section of the document, which is also over 200 pages. So overall, during the month of May 2023, Sinder was working with Nano to make her art for her GamerSupps cup. She really wanted to be the first GamerSupps cup with Nano's art on it. She also really wanted to be the first full-color cup, something that the company was still experimenting with. However, she'd find out through her GamerSupps manager that the reason why the company even started coming up with the idea of making a full-color art piece on a GamerSupps cup was because of the piece that Nano had drawn for Silvervale, something that hadn't released yet. When finding out about this news, both Sinder and Red tried to rush Nano to finish her art ASAP so that she could be the first creator to have a cup with Game.
Wait, what? The cup might be coming out a lot sooner than we were planning because of conflicts with another release. Oh no, what a disaster. Yeah, there's another creator thing coming out. We wanted to make sure Cinders was released ASAP. Damn, do you know when it is? Not exactly. That's why we are rushing. Pretty hype. Having an art on a GG cup, waiting to hear back about moving the release date up. Yeah, we're super excited to be the first with your art.
Tried to rush Nano to finish.
I had to move it up to make sure that we fit. Oh, that we would have the first Nano cup
art ASAP so that she could be the first creator to have a cup with GamerSupps that had Nano's art on it before Silvervale.
I'm so excited. Let me know if you got any dates. I was supposed to be towards the end of June. We're waiting on confirmation, but it would be within the next couple of weeks. Let's go. The other thing about your art is that it could be coming out soon. We're going supersonic speak on this bitch. Other thing, but we still want the art at, I don't know what that is. Probably without the cups being there.
This was because she wanted to feel special, but
what? Okay.
But also because she didn't want people to compare her to Silvervale like they've been doing for a while now. At the same time, what was even worse is that in Cinder's opinion, both her art and Silver's art was fairly similar, with both of them making a heart shape with their hands. Nano would of course wonder why they were rushing this cup so quickly. This would be when Red would reveal to her for the first time about the unspoken drama between Sinder and Silvervale, and says that, for example, Silver was rated by Sinder multiple times on Twitch, and she's the only one that Silver doesn't thank by name. He'd also mentioned that
You gotta be like shitting bricks, bro. Are we dead ass? We're getting upset because, oh my god. Are we dead ass?
She didn't think my name, but I rated her so many times. She didn't say my name.
Oh my fucking god. This is wild. This is crazy. Holy shit.
That Silver refuses to acknowledge Sinder by not following her anywhere because he's assuming that Silver dislikes her for copying her. This is when he would really give her the entire backstory, right? How Sinder wasn't even Sinder in the beginning, her Vtuber model was meant to be her ASMR persona called Tashi, how she then became a hellhound purely because she didn't want to copy Silvervale's model at the time. And this would also be the first time Red would reveal his obsession with having Silver and Cinder collab
Good night,
and interact,
Fallen.
showcasing how well they
Good night, Fallen. Good deny.
Hound purely because she didn't want to copy Silvervale's model at the time. And this would also be the first time Red would reveal his obsession.
Like their personalities and their opposite designs, so they fit so well together. Cinder just feels like she's always in Silver's shadow because that's what people think. I like Silver's model, I'm not gonna lie. It looks so pretty too. Silver's model looks so fucking nice. This is like my favorite model of hers. Holy shit. It's so fucking gorgeous. They don't even look alike, bro. I don't get the fucking issue here. They don't even look alike. Have you seen Silver's ghost model? She has a ghost model, really? No, I have not. I've been avoiding Twitter entirely as of like the last few days. Because I've been like replying to like Bow and shit. Low key, I've been having people like on my dick. Whoa. Oh yeah. I love this model a lot so much. Holy shit.
Silvervale's model at the time. And this would also be the first time Red would reveal his obsession with having Silver and Cinder collab and interact, showcasing how well they fit together due to their designs and revealing how Cinder always feels like she's in Silver's shadow. These DMs would last for a long time. And even then, Red would say something interesting here. There's more drama that happened over the past couple of years, but it's all from Silver's side. At some point, he'd realize just how long this conversation has been going for and would tell Nano, "Oh wait, it's late for you, you should sleep." To which Nano would reply, "Don't worry, I love gossips." Red would comment on this in the document and say, "Nano's always been open to talking about drama and gossip with me." I guess he felt the need to highlight that he wasn't forcing her to listen to any of this. He'd go on to talk about the
Bro, you still dumped it on them. Like either way, you just kind of like dumped it on them as well. So you both like aren't really like out of the clear. You're quick to like fucking throw shade about a creator towards someone, and the other person's like, "I love gossip." Yeah. So it's like, what the fuck? You both don't look good. Hello?
Gossip with me. I guess he felt the need to highlight that he wasn't forcing her to listen to any of this. He'd go on to talk about the first interaction Cinder had with Silvervale, which was a complete misunderstanding, in which she posted art of her character with Silver's and mistakenly put the hashtag Cindervale, which was seen as a shipping hashtag, right? Don't worry, we'll go through this entire backstory in Silvervale's section. In any case, Red proceeds to share his speculations and theories about Silver, going as far as monitoring the viewer list during Cinder's debut and seeing that Silver was in chat for around an hour while not saying anything. He also adds that a few weeks after Cinder's debut, Silver would—
What the fuck? Chat, I don't look at like my fucking god, this is like weird, bro.
Chat for around an hour while not saying anything. He also adds that a few weeks after Cinder's debut, Silver would go to Nano for a model, after her art had significantly improved. But it was almost as if he was taking credit for that, and this is something you'll see more than once in this document.
Good morning, Smuff. Good morning.
Overall, a lot of these topics will make a comeback in Silvervale's section, but that's way later in the document. Nano's section is the first section about someone else involved in the drama that Cinder wants you to read. And this is doing nothing but showcase to us how obsessed Red was with Silver, typing about her for hours. In any case, we'd go back to the topic of the Gamer Subs Cup, and he'd say that Silver is probably racing to release her Gamer Subs before Cinder, and would add a small remark saying that he wouldn't mind if Gamer Subs had their booth at Anime Expo with both Cinder and Silver on the art together, purely because it'll just make Silver mad, while adding a laughing emoji. He then speculated—
What the fuck? Oh my god. I don't get like the deal between like what's his obsession like with Silver? First it was Bow and now it's Silver, you know what I mean? So it's like, what the fuck is the deal? No clue.
like that Silver stalks Cinder's page, which is why she asked Nano for a model, going as far as saying that Silver has too much of—
People are texting me, man.
an ego stalks Cinder's page, which is why she asked Nano for a model, going as far as saying that Silver has too much of an ego and will never give Cinder validation because she believes that Cinder is a copy. Now look, so far this is gossip, but you have to understand, Nano and Red have been talking for a while now. They both consider each other friends, and Red of course is talking about this as if it's fact, when it's just speculation. None of this has been confirmed so far. But to Red's credit, at the end of this conversation, he would say, now listen, I don't want you to think we're telling you not to work with her. She's a big customer. And of course, he's referring to Silvervale.
Okay.
He would then reiterate. So like, we're not saying to stop working with Silver, but like, we'll always have plenty of work for you if you're willing to take it. Red would specify in the document, I'm using we're here, but Sinder had no idea this conversation was happening until I told her about it later. I was speaking for both of us without her knowledge or consent. This is something he would do more than once in these 1,000 pages. There's a comment here that Red would make that I find interesting, saying that Sinder is Silver's Dinkelberg. It's obviously meant to be a joke, but it's also a reference to the cartoon Fairly Odd Parents. In other words, according to Red, Silver saw Sinder as a nemesis out of complete jealousy, while Sinder had no clue about it and was...
Are we sure? Are we sure? I don't know, man. This is really like weird, chat. Oh my god, dude. Where's Silver's? Oh my fucking god. We have to like watch all the way up to here. Fuck,
completely
man.
Innocent. This was the logic behind Red's thinking. This is how he perceived Silver. Nana would then clarify that she was the one to ask Silver about making her a model. So this whole theory about Silver wanting to copy Sinder, okay, going to Nano just because Cinder's model was successful, she just immediately killed it. She does say though that she was now regretting it because she wasn't sure if she was up for more model work. Also adding that all this
5-hour video, what the fuck? Yeah, it's 5
sus.
hours. No, it's
So
6
look, I don't know
hours.
if you'd
Sorry,
call it
it's 6 hours.
manipulation. I think maybe manipulation might be a bit too far, but this multi-hour gossiping tirade of Red definitely was starting to influence Nano's opinion of Silvervale, even though none of it was rooted in fact, it was all speculation. Red would make a comment about this in the document, highlighting that Nano didn't want more model work, without highlighting how much she now found Silver to be sus. It sounds kind of similar to what happened with Bao, when Red would sit there and vent that Bao was stealing editors, was stealing things from them. All this negative gossip seems to have an immediate effect on Nano, and this is something that Red fails to acknowledge or mention throughout this document. After this, Red jokingly welcomes Nano to the inner circle. This was because most people had no idea about this drama. Nano was one of the few people that was told about this by Red. This conversation would really go on for a very long time. But the next notable thing that would happen would be Nano saying, like my VTubing arc, I'm moved by spite and I enjoy it. She's referencing the fact that when she gets angry, she wants to destroy, right? Red would reply to this and say, be careful with spite. I hear she copies things, lol. So Nano was
This guy just... Why? Why, bro? Oh my god. Why can't we all just be friends? Why can't they like... I just don't get it, bro. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all, chat. I can't imagine like being like this self-obsessed over people, you know what I mean? If I don't like someone or I have like an issue with somebody, you know what I mean? I just block them.
To gossip even further. He had effortlessly moved on from Silver to another VTuber that he was going to negatively gossip about. He'd talk about how Spite had come into Cinder's chat, cheered 1500 bits, and was friendly. About how
I'm gonna watch a horror movie and give out candy. Ah, like a true old man. Yes.
she then proceeded to unfollow Spite had come into Cinder's chat, cheered 1500 bits, and was friendly. About how she then proceeded to unfollow Cinder on Twitter and stopped calling herself a hellhound in order to rename herself to a Cerberus instead. Red would specifically describe this happening because Cinder, quote-unquote, blew past her, aka became more successful. He would then say that this is when Spite would start to copy Cinder non-stop, and it would get so bad that she'd make a tweet about how she's not copying anyone with her design. The DMs would go on for another maybe 10-20 minutes, and it would still be Red talking about Spite in a negative manner, sometimes making fun of the way she talks, like,
wow.
Cinder is copying me. And we can already see in this conversation how this is starting to affect Nano's opinion of Spite, even though she probably never spoke to her or knew much about her. After this conversation, Red would tell Cinder about it. This prompted Cinder to message Nano about it the next morning. She'd tell her that only 3 other people know about her situation with Silver, and that it's been eating her alive ever since she released her design. She also would specify that she didn't tell Nano about the cup design being similar because she didn't want to make her feel bad, so more miscommunication.
Okay, what does the cup designs look like,
to
though?
what happened with Numi, even though this was almost 2 years earlier. Cinder would then include DMs of her showing off what her figure is going to look like to Nano. She was going to have a physical figure made to be sold to her fans. Nano would say, try having Good Smile to make a demon, and Cinder would say, but Good Smile didn't even want Silver, to which Nano Nanolis would get annoyed at and say, "Stop talking about Silver." Sinder felt the need to include this in the document and specified that the reason why she said this was because Good Smile was very hard to work with. When she said they didn't even want Silver, this is something she heard from another friend and was in reference to how Silver was a much larger creator. So if Good Smile didn't want to work with her, they sure as hell weren't going to work with Sinder. So 5 days later, after refusing to communicate about this and letting it fester until the last second, Sinder would ask Nano to officially change one side of the cup art with Gamer Subs because it was way too similar to Silver's, to the point where even Gamer Subs didn't want any issues, especially since they'd be releasing them fairly close together. So far, this subsection showed us that Nano was part of Red and Cinder's obsession with Silver and Spite since 2023, and it definitely allowed us to take more of a peek as to the logic and feelings that were dictating Red and Cinder in their actions. The next 8 pages in the document would be dedicated to yet
we're not even we're 20, 30 minutes into this part of the document, okay? I want to say right now, I low-key feel kind of bad for Nano because of they're getting mixed in to the paranoia, the fucking obsession that that Red and Cinder have over Spite and Silver. But at the same time, Nano is gossiping too. So it's in a way, I feel kind of bad, but I don't at the same time. You know what I mean?
Again, show how friendly Cinder and Red were to Nano. How Nano would sometimes...
Also, this is all pathetic because we're all adults in this situation too. So everyone looks like a loser here.
Ask for money, and they'd simply give that to her, then subtract it from future commissions. How they'd always prioritize her for work above all other artists. And how Cinder would always include Nano's logo or a reference to her in every stream background of hers.
Okay.
You can see Nano's logo here, the eye symbol, and it would be present in all of Cinder's backgrounds. This again is done in an effort to show that she wasn't just a business partner, she was a close friend to both of them. By July 2023, Cinder had grown quite a bit, and this gave Nano a lot more attention since she was the one who designed her model. She'd start receiving more commission requests, and eventually, Silver would want one. If you remember a few months ago, Nano would have been the one who messaged Silver. Nothing concrete came out of it, but now it seemed like it was going to happen. Nano would tell this to Red and would even say, "I know it's Cinder's enemy, but she's still my client, I'm sorry." To which Red would say it's okay. Red would then specify in the document that he hadn't forced Nano to call Silver Cinder's enemy, and that he and Cinder didn't even view her like this at the time. At the end of the day,
y'all did though. What? You called her Dinkelberg or whatever the fuck it was. What were they in that show? That dude saw that person as an enemy. Are you fucking kidding? Aren't they alluding like they are rivals or nemesis? That's how they're genuinely the past what 20 minutes. The past 20 minutes has been them alluding that Silver is the enemy. They're just not saying it. You know what I mean? They're not actually saying the fucking word enemy. You know what I mean? They're alluding to it. I don't know what's going on, but that's the picture I'm seeing. Oh my god. Dude, W Smuff for being here because Smuff doesn't know shit about VTubers. This is so great. He doesn't know jack shit about VTubers.
to call Silver Cinder's enemy, and that he and Cinder
he
didn't
doesn't?
even view her like this.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't keep up with VTubers. He doesn't know shit, bro. This is perfect, guys. This is actually perfect.
At the end of the day, though, it's up to you to decide whether that's a fair thing to say, especially after the
also,
hours
Smuff
of
is a friend too,
Red
so I feel like it
upon
makes sense.
Nano.
I met him.
But during this conversation,
game, so
Redwood,
sense,
like
guys.
almost a broken record, mentioned the same things about Silver, and would even post the same image with Silver and Cinder side by side.
True.
This truly seemed to be one of his biggest passions, right? Uniting Cinder and Silver together, even though Silver was pretty distant from Cinder, and we'd see that in her part of the document. Later in the conversation, Red would congratulate Nano on her newfound success with all these new client inquiries, but then would say, "I think Cinder and Silver will always be fighting for your work behind the scenes," already showing us that he was worrying, if not already panicking. According to Red, this was the first instance of him implying that he'd be competing directly with anyone. He would then say we have some problems going on and things we need to fix, and just some drama getting to us, but yeah, it's non-stop crazy things. This was in reference to a message he had typed earlier saying just a lot we have to take care of before that debut. This is when Nanolis would again state, "May I know what's up?" kind of like to gossip. Again, Red would take this opportunity to say, "Nano's always been open to talking about drama and gossip with me." During this gossiping session, Red would say that Silver's cup releasing so soon after Cinder's has been getting getting to them. And it was at this point that Nano actually realized, you know what? Maybe she doesn't like gossip that much anymore. She simply didn't want to hear about Silver again, jokingly saying, "I'll slap you about Silver stuff. Forget about her, I swear." Red would comment about this in the document, saying Nano got tired of hearing about drama around Silvervale specifically. Red would see that she was getting tired of this and would try to explain his logic, saying that if Silver did recognize Sinder as an equal or a friend, then it would be like she's endorsing her copy. This would be detrimental to her, especially since they share a lot of the same audience too. In his mind, they have to fight for that audience's wallets with their cups and figures.
Yeah.
But then specifying it's not even.
Damn. I feel like true like VTuber fans like will continue to support like their Oshi no matter what, you know what I mean? If there's two Oshis that they like and both of them seem similar, quote unquote similar, I feel like that fan will continue to support both of them no matter what, you know what I mean? It's so sad to see them be very competitive with Silver when Silver genuinely probably like has like no fucking knowledge of what is like actually happening. So while they're over here having like a one-sided competition, you got this one over here just like chilling, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't even know if this is not even paranoia at this point. This is actually like a genuine obsession over her. And it's so sad to see, bro. That's what I'm thinking. Like, is Silver even aware of any of this? No, she's not. She's not, bro. She's not.
Endorsing her copy. This would be detrimental to her, especially since they share a lot of the same audience too. In his mind, they have to fight for that audience's wallets with their cup.
I did see this too as well. Someone, okay, so when we first released, okay, chat, when we first released, let me look for the video before like I get my facts wrong real quick. When we first released a video about Silver, not Silver, fuck, when we first released a video about Sinder, oh, this one right here. This video right here, she has more to say. This one, right? There was comments of people saying that you and Sinder have the same audience. Don't you think it's weird for you to talk shit or over? Don't you see like the comparison? And I was like, yes, we do have the same audience because I am an ASM artist and I just happen to be a VTuber at the same time. So we're gonna have the same audience, you know what I mean? And I'm not dogging that. I was like, I'm not even dogging her fucking audience. I'm dogging her as a person. I have no issue if people watch me and then be like, oh, Annie, I'm gonna go watch. Well, actually, don't tell me who you're gonna go watch because I don't really give a fuck at the same time. But I don't care if you support her, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck if you support her, man. I'm chilling in my own boat at the end of the day. It's her as a person that I just don't fuck with, you know what I mean? So for them to be like, we have to fight for their audience, that is fucking crazy. That is fucking insane. I'm gonna go watch Big Guy. No! Stop! Don't tell me that! I still have Pyro Pups that watch me. I have not dogged them once. You know what I mean? And in a sense, I think I've said before, in a way, I feel bad for them. You know what I mean? Holy voice crack. In a way, I feel bad for them. And the reason is because I don't want... It sucked to find out that a lot of them felt betrayed. They were just like, no. And the Pyro Pups seem very fucking loyal, man. I'm sorry. They seem so fucking loyal. So it's like, damn. I just hope she stays true to her word. Because right now, from this sentence...
I'ma go watch Slender Man shower dog leg.
Slender Man, my husband. I miss him. I miss him so much. But for them to be like, we have to fight for... I said we were fighting for Cinder's and Silver's shared audience. Wallets with our cups and merch. Yeah, that's crazy. To say something like this is fucking insane. I'm sorry. That is crazy, bro. Holy shit. That's insane. Hello? Dude, that's evil as fuck. Hello?
ups and figures, but then specifying it's not even about the money. Red just wanted to see them get along. But of course,
No, it's about the money.
the marketing potential and money they could make if they teamed up would be crazy. And this is
Fucking idiot. It's not about the money. I just want them to get along, but also talks about the money aspect of them teaming up. You contradict yourself later in the same fucking screenshot.
something that Red was really passionate about as well.
my
Overall, this whole
God.
situation is a shame. Getting a cup with gamer subs, especially back then, right? In the early days,
It was
a very
a
big
W,
deal. But it seemed
yeah.
like Red and Cinder could never celebrate anything. They would always
Oh my God. I got my first cup with gamer subs. It was like a huge accomplishment. Oh my God. I never thought I'd get a cup with them.
Oh my goodness.
early days was a very big deal. But it seemed like Red and Cinder could never celebrate anything. They would always look at their accomplishments in comparison to others, especially Silvervale. And in the end, they say comparison is the thief of joy. And this particular thief must have really enjoyed hanging around Cinder and Red. After this, the next 9 pages would show DMs between Red and Nano, then DMs between Cinder and Nano, in which they prioritize working with her over any other artist, change their plans to accommodate her, and choose to wait for her whenever she says that she can't work on things at the moment. They'd also show a couple pages that were directly copy and pasted from Bao's document. In any case, by November 2023, even though Nano was getting way more popular due to all the demands for commissions, Red and Cinder would remain very loyal to her. They would always come to her for their models, never hiring someone else.
Fire.
Them saying this might have been to soften the blow for the very controversial thing that Red would end up saying next.
Okay.
Because when this was revealed in Nano's document in April 2025, the art community and the general VTuber community was absolutely baffled at how someone could say this to an artist. It would be him saying, not to discredit any of your work, because everything you work on is the top of the line incredible, but when everyone's a Nano baby, it feels less special to be one, if that makes sense. He'd reiterate this point again as a comment on this document, saying this was about supply and demand and the perceived value of Nano's models if they weren't as scarce. Like I said above,
I wonder what boss saw. It's that fucking gas emo.
supply and demand and the perceived value of Nano's models if they weren't as scarce. Like I said above, this was not to discredit the quality of her work or her talent as an artist. I would recommend you say this to any artist you might know. You'll probably get punched in the balls. An artist lives to create, right? They want to do as many beautiful things as possible to impact as many lives they can. To attribute this action as a cheap supply and demand business tactic is genuinely, in every way, an insult to their work and their entire reason of being. But Red couldn't see that. He was too busy thinking about business. This was Red essentially trying to gatekeep Nano from others, all for the sake of making Cinder appear more special. Some people call it manipulative, but that's up to you to decide. Regardless, Red would reiterate that both him and Cinder loved Nano. It just sucks that right now everyone wants a Nano model. I mean, it's good because you make a lot of money and you gotta eat lol, but sucks that it's not as special. He would again make that same point. Nano would express, I'm actually hard grinding because next year I might get my own house, to which Red says, housewarming party when? Now at this point, both Red and Cinder wanted to make her 3.0 model to be ready by 2025, right? This was the end of 2023. Nano would say, look, since I'm booked till June 2024 so far, let me know whenever is possible to confirm this new model, so I'll stop the models a bit for real and focus on yours. Red would say, I'll have to talk to Cinder and talk to blank again, and then Nano would say, like I said, would be an honor to keep being Cinder's mama, but if she wants to go for blank, it is what it is. Won't take it personal or anything. The reason why these DMs are there is so that Red can say, her saying it is what it is almost sounds like it's just business. This is in reference to something we'll see later that made Cinder look bad. Red would then say something along the lines of, we take pride in calling you her artist. But he'd specify that he didn't say this because this was about him and Cinder owning Nano or keeping her from working with anyone else. It was simply because Nano's style had become synonymous with Cinder's brand. Red would then start to vent about all the new and exciting things he's working on, which also led to how unhealthy his and Cinder's work-life balance had become. And Nano would say, dude, you make me rethink my entire current wait list. Red would say, huh? Why? You gotta buy a house. You and your husband need a house. To which Nano would say, I don't know, Cinder's just the best baby I got, to be honest. Red would say, say, just by talking about our plans to Nano, she said I was making her rethink her current waitlist, calling Sinder the best baby I got, to be honest. The next page is something we already saw in Bao's document, in which Red would say, but I mean, if you want to clear up your schedule for more work with us, I'm not going to stop you. Which Nano would say, yeah, I'm thinking on cleaning the most later commissions. This is when Nano eventually would say that she really wanted to work with Bao. She didn't really want to cancel. Shortly afterwards, Nano would tell Red that she's canceling both Silvervale's and Cottontail's models, and that she'd have her manager, which is her husband, Mio, do it himself so that he gets the fault. Those were her own words. She didn't want to deal with the consequences herself. Red in the document takes the opportunity to say that this wasn't his fault, and that he only supported her decision after she had made it, never manipulating her prior. So again, this is up to you to decide whether it's true or not. A couple days later, this is exactly what would happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that... I don't know. They both suck. Can I just be honest, bro? He sucks as like a manager, quote unquote manager, because oh my god, holy shit. All he is just gossiping. And she sucks as an artist because oh my fucking god, man. Oh my god. She removed the Silver's and Cotton's model from her waitlist, and then she was going to blame Mio, her manager and husband, because she's done. Oh wow, what a coincidence. Her manager and husband. Wow, what a fucking coincidence. Because she's dying with her commissions.
Prior. So again, this is up to you to decide whether it's true or not. A couple days later, this is exactly what would happen. Nano would message Silver, we already saw this in Silvervale's document, and would tell her that she has to cancel the model commission because her manager, aka her husband, was asking her to cancel the most commissions possible for health reasons. Cinder would then take the time to show the message she had sent Silvervale, congratulating her on her gamer sub stuff and how she received it and how they look amazing. This was 2 days before Red's conversation with Nano, right, talking about canceling Silvervale's model. Silver would show this message in her document and would be disgusted over how Cinder was saying these nice things, while from her point of view, Red was in DMs with Nano, canceling Silvervale's model. Cinder would argue that this message was genuine, and that she had no idea what was going on in Nano's DMs. After canceling, Nano would express in her Discord server how she's feeling healthier and less stressed. This was a day after she had decided to cancel both Silver's and Cotton's models. To Cinder, this is all very two-faced, because when Silvervale would post her document about Cinder, Nano was already very well aware why Silver's model was canceled. She still, however, replied to Silvervale's tweet and would say, I literally can't believe this.
This is fucked up. This is so fucked up, bro. What the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck?
I literally can't believe it.
Oh my fucking god. Hello?
Linking a screenshot of the section we just referenced very shortly beforehand, where Cinder sent a very nice message to Silver, while at the same time, 2 days earlier, both Red and Nano were talking about canceling Silver's model. Again, to Cinder, this was very two-faced. Nano knew exactly why Silver's model was canceled, and yet here she was acting
This is like when you get your money for your birthday and your parents go, oh, let me hold on to that for you.
surprised over the fact that it happened. The next thing we see is Nano proceeding to ask Red about when she should finish Bao's model. Now we saw this in Bao's section, but what we didn't see was Nano calling herself a dedicated Cinder slave. This is something that Red would point out in the document, and he would say this isn't ever something he ever implied her to be, or that he only wanted her to work with them. However, such interactions could mean a lot of things. And while unprofessionalism might come to mind first, since Nano was asking a friend about when she should finish a commission for a client, one could also see this as a way for Nano to stay in Red's good graces, to maybe prove her loyalty to someone who showered her with trust, while also happening to see enemies everywhere. On the 20th of November 2023, Cinder tries to show us that she wasn't trying to monopolize Nano by showing us a conversation with someone she had worked with. That person was wondering what it was like to work with Nano, and Cinder would do nothing but sing her praises. And speaking of praises, the next image shows Red messaging 2 tweets to Nano, one featuring Cinder and the other one featuring BuffBub, another VTuber who had her model made by Nano. In these 2 tweets, they were both praising Nano as their favorite artist. Red would say, "Your daughters are really related, lol," and all of this would be Cinder trying to show us that Red, as well as her, never had any problem sharing Nano with others. A couple days later, on the 25th of November 2023,
I mean, fuck, dude, clearly you did if you were like talking shit about like Silver and Spy It, bro. Clearly you had an issue with sharing artists if you were trying to be the first to get out with a Gamer Subs Cup. You know what I mean? You had an issue with sharing your quote-unquote artists, but only with like 2 certain people because of your own judgment that was like a delusion. Like, what are you talking about?
3, we'd see that Nano misunderstood a conversation between her and Red. This was in reference to when Red would say, hey, if you make more models, then it's less special. She would come to the conclusion that she wasn't okay with it after speaking to some friends, and would realize that she was still pretty confused about the sentence in which Red said that more models mean that they're less special. She understood this as Red saying that she should stop making more models and just purely focus on Sinder. At this point, I feel like it's important to mention that Nano is Brazilian, her first language is not English, so maybe the misunderstanding stemmed from that. I don't know. Still something important to know. Based on Red's reaction in the DMs and based on the comment he made in the document, he was visibly caught off guard. He was under the impression that Nano wanted to work on more Sinder stuff. That's the impression he got from her messages. And he reiterated what he meant about her making more models for other people in regards to how it would be less special. He'd say that's with anything though, not just your work. If you have something special and then everyone wants and gets that thing, it makes it less special. I'm sorry you were under the impression we were trying to make you only do work for us. Nano would then say, but every single model I do is unique and I make them special in their way. It's not like I'm selling Sinder to everyone. Please don't feel this way. She then even apologized, saying, I'm sorry I made you both feel this way too. But still, even after this entire interaction, Red would still, triple down now? He'd say, to me it was a matter of supply and demand, just like a rare trading card. The more models Nano made, and the more often she would, the less valuable they'd become for the people who have them. Nano's models are all incredible quality, extremely unique, and highly sought after, but they'd each individually be less special or valuable if there were 100 of them rather than only 10.
What is... This guy sounds like a walking, talking CEO. There's like, oh my god. Holy shit, dude.
So essentially, he was treating this like Pokemon, when in reality this was someone's living, someone's passion, and someone's objective to make as many awesome models as possible. He'd then say, I only thought this way over models because of the role and importance they play for a VTuber, and the importance Nano's art was to our brand. It was never about who was asking Nano for a model, just that more and more people were. More new model clients meant more recurring model clients, meaning less time for anything we wanted to do with Nano, which is why we considered an exclusivity deal in January 2020.
I'm not playing that, bro. Leave me alone.
5. My priority has always been our plans and our schedule. Everything a VTuber does revolves around new model debuts. Merch, music, events, and more are all planned around a new model or outfit as a centerpiece. That's why I always ask
my
Nano
number
about her
one like
schedule and
fucking
where she
like
could
day
fit in
one
our
hater
plans
is
at the
like
consistent pace
Jonky.
we've always,
You already knew. Yeah, I
the
knew.
sentence
I
just
knew,
ends
bro.
here.
Because
It's literally just a period.
I just knew, man. Leave me alone, okay?
The consistent pace we've always. The sentence just ends here.
I'm
There's
a hater?
literally just
Yeah, you
period
are.
Where she could fit in our plans at the consistent pace we've always. Okay, that really caught me off guard. Anyway, he continues. That way we could keep up with the pressure to always do bigger and better things all around new models. On the other hand, as you'll read, I could also completely sympathize with Nano's perspective as an artist. In an artist's view, they want their art to be everywhere and seen by as many people as possible, and have more and more people appreciate their craft, hard work, and love they put into what they do. More artwork for more clients means more of their work will be seen by more people, leading to more new clients and more new opportunities to sustain themselves financially. New ideas and new concepts that come in keep work exciting and prevent creatively burning out from doing the same thing over and over again with the same older clients. When Nano told me how she felt, I was 100% on board with what she was saying and had no reason to argue
I wish
against
my
it,
haters would
even
give
if my
me money.
priority has always been Cinder's project. I also cared about and prioritized Nano as my friend and what she wanted to do for herself. I apologized to Nano for the confusion and accepted her decision without any pushback. When I said business is business in these messages, it was Cinder's projects. I also cared about.
Dude, everybody's a hater. Everyone's a hater in chat, bro.
I apologized to Nano for the confusion.
You know
and
you
accepted
guys
her
are
decision
haters.
without any pushback. When I said business is business in these messages, it was referring to the fact that Nano made a business decision that was best for her, even if it wasn't necessarily what I wanted, and I respected it, didn't hold it against her, and worked around it with her. In the next screenshot, we could see him saying that sentence. In fact, he says it twice. The first time would be in reference to Nano saying, "Thank you for understanding my side. We're all trying to have our names everywhere. Just please don't take this personal or anything. I still love working with you guys. And again, apologize for the trouble on your plans." The second time would be when she'd say, "I want to take Silver's model, but I don't want to disrespect Sinder. I just want to do pretty models, no hurt feelings." And Red would say, "Business is business," with a laughing emoji. From Red's point of view, he was completely understanding and sympathetic to Nano's side of things and working with Silvervet. He would never ask her not to work with Silver or to cancel her model. But if she wanted to work with Silver, then there was nothing he could do to stop her. It was her business decision, and he respected it, just like
I don't know, man. I was gonna say like he kind of like alludes to it. I was gonna say that he kind of like alludes to it, but like, I don't know, dude. Because this is like a very weird situation. You know what I mean? If I don't like 100% of the time, when I don't like someone, I don't associate with them. You know what I mean? I do my best to like avoid these people. But I wouldn't go out my way to talk shit to them. You know, or talk shit about them to like other people as well, or talk about drama. So it's like, I don't know, dude. Oh my god, this is like a very weird situation.
Always had. This is what business is business was referring to, according to him. He would then reassure her that everything was fine, but then at the end would say, me and you are good, but I still have to tell this to Sinder, with a laughing emoji. And then he said it'll be fine. He felt that.
Okay, bro. Okay. I take it all back. I literally take it all back. Nah. Yikes. Oh yeah, me and you are chill, but Sinder, I'm gonna have to tell her about this conversation. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You know what you're doing saying that shit. That's crazy. No.
Need to specify that this was a joke. After this conversation, Red would respect Nano's wishes, but then say they'd have to cancel Sinder's 3.0 model until further notice, instead only focusing on the upcoming pirate outfit because he was assuming Nano wouldn't be able to do both now that she's going to commit to working with others. This is when Nano would say, I might be able to, considering I'll only take Silverback. It wasn't clear why she wanted to still cancel with everyone after having this lengthy conversation with Red, but at this point I think there was a big problem with both communication and expectations on both ends of this relationship. Red should have never brought up his paranoia and rivalries into his business relationship with Nano, and her liking gossip doesn't really mean much seeing that he initiated the first move. What he did was unprofessional and does a disservice to the person he's representing, which in this case was Sinder. On the other hand, Nano was all over the place. She was doing a disservice to people who were willing to spend thousands of dollars on her models by being so indecisive, and she mistakenly, through a number of different factors, saw this as some sort of loyalty test with Sinder when it wasn't really the case. At least, that's what Red and Sinder claim. Now next up, there will be a conversation about another VTuber by the name of Giri, another one of Sinder's friends. She was first mentioned like close to 10 pages ago, but it was very out of place. It was just this page by itself. This will be one of the many projects that were going to be cancelled because of Nano wanting less work. On the 19th of November 2023, Nano would bring up her name to Red, saying that Giri might be interested in a model. Red's reply would be, ain't no way, crying emoji. She's gonna want you for sure. To which Nano would say, hold on, it's not like this. Then they would change the subject. We're now back to the 25th of November when Nano would say, I might be able to considering I'll only take Silverback. Red would then ask the question, did you end up working on Giri's model? To which Nano would say, oh, not yet, she was just browsing. This is when Red would say, no worries, business is business, further explaining what this means in the document, saying, business is business here is me telling Nano that no matter what her decision on Giri's model was, I would accept whatever outcome she chose. I didn't want to affect her.
But you're not her manager. I would accept whatever outcome she chose. Oh my fuck. Oh my god, man.
Decision about it, and Giri never came up between.
Wait, the guy, is it the manager? Oh, this guy redacted? No, he's not the manager. Who is that guy? I'm sorry, Smuff. Did you think this entire time Red was the manager of this person? Did you think that he was the manager of Nano? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't think artists have managers. I think artists are kind of like independent. But Nano does have a quote unquote manager, and it's their husband at this time. You know what I mean? So it's like, and Red is the manager, quote unquote manager of Sinder, but they're married. So it's like, bro is clearly making like changing her thinking and making do things a certain way. Like, Smub, are you home? Can I call you real quick? I'm so lost. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, hold on. Where are you at? There you are. Oh my god, dude. That's so funny.
Well, what is going on? Oh my god.
Okay, wait. Okay. So all right.
Dude, I thought this whole time this guy was like fucking up the artist or some shit. I don't know. Like,
okay, so this guy,
I thought he was the boss.
okay,
Yeah.
so he's the boss of what's it called? He's the boss of Silver. And I'm sorry, Sinder. Fuck, their names are so similar. He is the boss of Sinder. And the person that they're talking to is the artist that made the artwork for Sinder. And that person's Nano. Nano has a different manager that's her husband. And Red, okay, just to clarify, Red is the manager for Cinder husband. They're married, right? So, como se dice? And he did most of the talking for Cinder. But the like
I'm so lost. I don't see Cinder at all. Where is she? What? Why is he doing everything? Well, he's fucking everything up, it looks like. I'm so lost. Like, oh my god. So, is Nano a bad person too?
what do you think so far? Like, truly, what do you think?
I feel like she's being manipulated right now with this red guy. So, and he's not even the boss. I don't know, man. It's all fucked to me right now.
Mind you, this is only one section. Oh, you know what? This section
Oh,
right
you're
here.
right.
Yeah. This section's like 200 pages long.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Not even the boss.
Is it even worth it? Oh my god.
Yeah, I think so. I'm like trying to like break it down into parts watching it, but so far, like I think when I first read the documents, I was like, she kind of sucks as like an artist because she's constantly, you know what I mean, like canceling clients. I'm just like reading this and I was like, do you not like money? Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? So it's like the artist definitely does seem like
Right? Why don't you
indecisive.
just keep working?
Yeah. And then now that I'm like watching it, I go, wait a minute, hold on. He's like, in a way, he's like, you know, throwing worms at Nano. Yeah.
He's it's manipulation. Man. It's manipulate. He is manipulating. That's the word you're looking for. You know? It's come on. It's pretty clear.
It's so good.
That's the first thing I saw.
But you're
I don't know these people. I don't know their path. I don't know anything, but that's what I'm seeing right now. This is my first introduction into these people.
Have you seen like this drama before? No? I'm sure you have. Or heard of it. No? Really? The Cinder stuff?
No.
Wow. You're actually like off the internet. Holy. I aspire to be like you, Smuff.
I'm off the. I am on the internet, but not this part of the internet.
Do you watch? Wait, you don't watch streamers, right?
Not much, not many. I watch like smaller ones that play like the games I play.
League of Legends.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it, bro.
Mhm. All right, whatever. Get me out of here, bro. Just fucking keep watching this.
All
Come on.
right.
Fuck off.
Bye. 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 Bye, Benji. Take care. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Again, accept whatever outcome she chose. I didn't want to affect her decision about it, and Yuri never came up between us again. At this point, this sentence was his catchphrase. Anyway, they'd continue their conversation, and Red would start worrying that Nano told everyone, including Silver, that the reason why she chose to cancel their models was due to Sinder, to which she would say, I told them all it was health issues. Before ending the conversation, Red would make sure to specify, we never want to make you feel like we're making you or forcing you to work on or not work on something. Sorry that it sounded to you like I was telling you to only do Sinder work. The next day, on the 26th of November, Nano would personally message Sinder to make sure things were okay. This is when the infamous phrase, it's just business, would make an appearance after Sinder would write it in DMs, a phrase that would become a meme during her cancellation on April 2025. In the document, Sinder would take the opportunity to explain the reasoning behind this phrase and why she wrote it, saying, since it has been completely ignored in my apology, deceptively misinterpreted, and turned into a meme, let me explain again what I meant by it's just business when I used the phrase myself. If Nano had chosen to pause, delay, or cancel any planned or future work with me for any reason she would give me, whether due to other clients, burnout, or any other reason, then it was just business. Both Red and I had repeatedly reassured Nano over the years that there was nothing she could say or do to make us choose to stop working with her, and nothing about our work together would ever make me rethink the friendship I had with her. Our feelings did not dictate Nano's business and commission decisions. We always made accommodations for her to be able to work with us when she could, and she was always willing and excited to do things with us. If she had come to us herself saying she didn't want to work with us ever again, then that was just business. Neither of our comments were made trying to convince her to sabotage or cancel any projects for anyone else using business to justify it. It's just business was used in this conversation about the situation alone. To tell Nano we accepted what she wanted to do. I don't remember using the phrase anywhere else again, but it has been turned into this catchphrase I've allegedly had all along to sabotage people. If you were to present my conversation with Nano first, without any of the context of Red's discussion with her happening just before this, it could look like I was directly responding to Nano's message about canceling other people's models as just business. This is how it was presented in Nano's document. You'd also have to ignore everything else I said in the same message to Nano and everything else from this same conversation that referenced what Red had told Nano the day before. When you have the full context of the situation and the order it happened in, my "it's just business" comment means something completely different than what it was deceptively portrayed as to the public. So here's the thing. I think Sinder might have failed to realize why the "it's just business" meme caught on when she tried to clear it up in the document. It's not because of the phrase itself, but more so what followed afterwards in her DMs with Nano. These DMs would start off with Nano saying, hey, I wanted to just talk to you about your thoughts regarding what Red had said. This message would say, not to discredit any of your work, but making more models makes them feel less special, etc., etc. Nano said, I thought on canceling some models because of it, but then I realized it's not really fair to me. Sinder would say, I understand what he means, but at the end of the day, it's just business. The next paragraph would be her saying, being one of your very first model babies was so amazing. I was happy to be able to find someone to help you with live 2D cutting to improve your skills. And I think that's a big part of why everyone loved the 1.0 model and then started asking you for them. This, to many,
being one of the first model babies was so amazing. I was happy to be able to find someone to help you with your live 2D cutting to improve your skills. And I think that's the big part of why everyone loved the 1.0 model and then started asking you for them. That sounds like Cinder's taking credit. Is that like a huge leap that I'm assuming? That's what she's implying. Oh, shit! I really need to invest into a soundboard. I really need to invest into a soundboard that I could use myself. Like, do, you know, like just spam it. Spam the button. You already have one. Okay, I already have one, but I haven't set it up yet. I'm just lazy.
Is painfully manipulative. The fact that during a conversation about others working with Nano, Sinder would take the time to make it a point that if it wasn't for her commissioning Nano and taking the time to find her someone to teach her character rigging, then Nano wouldn't even be in this position with multiple clients to begin with.
Damn.
rubbed many people the wrong way. It almost sounded like Sinder was taking credit for Nano making it here. Now, look, even though
Okay.
she didn't further explain anything about this sentence in this new document, she did explain it in her initial apology, saying it was to reminisce over their shared past. Thing is, though, one can definitely reminisce with someone about their shared past without having to bring up an important favor they did for them as the centerpiece of the conversation. This is why these messages became a focal point during the drama during April 2025. The next 2 pages would then be more DMs between Red and Nano in which they treat her very well, moving projects around to accommodate her, etc., etc. But then
Okay.
Sinder would make it a point to include some DMs between her personally and Nano, showing how well she treated her as well. Like, for example, congratulating her about working on so many different cool projects with different people.
This is very weird. I will say it's very weird to show how you treated someone. You know what I mean? But like, how can I be manipulative when I treated them so fucking well? Like, look at these messages. Like, look at these messages. Why would I be manipulative if but I was treating them so well? That's what it sounds like. What? How can I be like this evil mastermind when I'm treating them so well? See? And it's like they're showing like screenshots. It's like, what the fuck?
The next 5 pages would again be DMs between Red and Nano in which he was accommodating her, being fully understanding of her situations, etc., etc. And then the next image would show DMs between Nano and Sinder in which Sinder helped her out with some audio questions. This was an effort by Sinder to show that she did have normal conversations with Nano and that she was very nice to her outside of this situation. The next event in the timeline would be on the 25th of June 2024. This is when Nano would tell Red that she was getting less commissions than usual, and that this worked for her because she wanted
My one good thing doesn't excuse my list of evil deeds.
Nano would tell Red that she was getting less commissions than usual, and that this worked for her because she wanted to take more time to try and stream more often anyway. She would,
W?
however, indicate that she was interested in taking on more Sinder work. This, of course, made Red visibly overjoyed. A week later, Nano and Sinder would collab while streaming together. Cinder and Red would stop by Nano's meet and greet and anime expo. 17 days after that, someone would message Cinder about her experience working with Nano, and she'd say that she's fantastic to work with. All these different situations are in this document purely to support Cinder and Red's claim that they were nothing but nice and supportive to Nano. And to
Chat. Okay, when we first read the document, low key. When we first read the document, right, and we read the Nano part, I won't lie, I was heavily displeased and like, ugh, when reading everything about Nano. And we're not even done with the section, by the way. We're like I don't know, we're like halfway done, I guess. Yeah, like we're like halfway done with the section. I was very displeased and like, ugh, you know what I mean? Reading the Nano part, because I was like, what kind of, I would be so hurt if this was like my artist, you know what I mean? And then I'm reading it, now that like, Mujin's explaining it, and like, what makes it better is that him talking about Bao and Numi first, right? And then going into the Nano part, I'm just like, interesting, you know what I mean? It's like, reading it differently, it's like, oh man.
their credit, when it comes to those situations, yes, Nano seems to have been treated pretty well. The next 8 pages would then be a complete repetition of what we saw in Bao's document.
Okay.
So there's no need to cover them. The next event that would occur would be at the end of July 2024. Nano would get into a public drama with a well-known VTuber rigger who was meant to rig a model she made for Iron Mouse. On her model, she had a pearl necklace. The problem, though, was that it was clearly badly rigged, lazily put together with the beads moving as if they were independently levitating.
Oh, I see.
As if there was no string attached to them. Nano would see someone's tweet highlighting the necklace's disappointing rigging, and then she'd make a quote tweet about it, publicly calling out the rigger, saying, "I fucking hate this, because this should be the original chest and he modified it without my knowledge." He being the rigger. And I clearly state that I offer free fixing for the rigger until model is done and good. She then continued the thread saying, "There was no communication between me and blank, the rigger, but surely this is not minor visual difference. The Cinder This was Nano admitting that she had never communicated with a person she publicly called out. Of course, drawing a parallel between this and Nano publicly making the document about her in April 2025 without messaging her first. Nano would reply to herself again saying, yeah, I learned to stand up and tell clients that I won't work with them if it's rigor X. It's kinda douchey, but feel like it's needed. To Sinder, this is proof that Nano could stand up to herself if she found something to be weird, further proving that she wasn't manipulated to cancel anything by Red. As this was happening, both Nano and Red would speak about it in DMs. In it, we can see Nano trying to put on a brave face while stressing out and not really knowing if she did the right thing. Red would be there to reassure her, telling her that she did indeed do the right thing and shouldn't worry. At some point, Nano would say that she'll probably apologize because she doesn't want to stain her name while potentially staining Cinder's name as a result. Red would tell her it won't. Trust me. In other words, what he was saying was, don't worry, and no need to apologize. Red would make a comment in this document saying, some of my messages here aged really well. This is of course ironic. The document would then show a now deleted tweet of the rigger in response to the public callout, saying, I fucking hate this. Nanolist removed herself from tag and direct conversation and uses emotional language to attack and rally rather than actually caring about fixing the art that I've provided instructions for 7 months. But the focus seems to have shifted away from, and that's it, that's where the tweet ends. Overall, the subsection was aimed to highlight that in Red and Cinder's opinion, what Nano did to that rigger was wrong, and that they could draw direct parallels between this and what she did to them in April 2025. I should mention though that after the public callout, the rigger fixed this issue fairly quickly, very quickly in fact. However, it's not really known whether this rigger and Nano are on good terms today or if they're still hostile to each other. The next 12 pages in the document would be a complete repetition to what we already saw in Bao's document, so we're going to be skipping those. After these repetitions, the next 8 pages would be more DMs trying to showcase how well Nano was treated by Red and Cinder, even including details about how Cinder and Nano had collabed on her birthday, for example, and how much fun they had recounting it in DMs. There's going to be more pages like this in this document.
What?
So from now on, I'll be skipping them since I'm assuming that you got the point. This leads up to the next topic. On the 29th of September 2024, 2 months after canceling Bao's model, the word exclusivity would be brought up for the first time. But unlike how it was portrayed during April 2025, according to this document, it was Nano that has brought this up first, not Red. Cinder would say, about 2 months after canceling Bao's model, Nano asked Red about us paying for her to cancel her projects. She brought up the possibility of some kind of exclusivity deal to Red for the first time, saying she just wants to do Cinder stuff. This is what I said about Nano accepting projects in my initial apology. Every time I had been told that Nano had agreed to work on a new commission with me, it had been willingly and with excitement. From my point of view, it was that she genuinely wanted to be working on these things. I wanted to work with Nano as much as I possibly could, making her art the face of my brand. Cinder would then say, this was followed by her canceling a long list of model projects herself for a bunch of different VTubers after filling up her waitlist with more projects than she could reasonably take on again. Cinder would then reference her initial apology again with the sentence, of her own volition, Nano canceled a large portion of her model commissions last September. Cinder would then claim that this entire conversation was left out of Nano's document, and all of the blame for these model cancellations was put on me and Red. If you're one of the 6 VTubers who had a project with Nano canceled around this time, this was what happened. Once again, I had no involvement in this conversation and was only told about what happened afterwards. So in these DMs between Nano and Red, we can see her, unprompted, say the phrase, hypothetically, if I accept to be paid to cancel every commission that's not Cinder related, would you pay it? When Red would reply with, huh, I don't understand, Nano would explain in all caps, I'm freaking out with my comms and I think I just want to do Cinder stuff, I'm dying inside. I want to do my own shit too, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask such a weird question. At this point, Red would need a bit more to understand what was going on, and when he finally understood, he'd say, we'll pay you for work you do for us, and if you want more to do to replace other commissions, we can do that. He would then directly reply to the message in which Nano would mention her hypothetical scenario, trying to understand it more as he asked, by this, did you mean for us to pay to cancel other projects? Nano would reply with, yeah. Just a silly thought. This is when Red would specify that he and Cinder were willing to pay her for new projects to replace those commissions, but not just to cancel them outright without getting anything else in return. However, Red would make an exception, adding the phrase, unless it was silver, with a laughing emoji. Here's what Red had to say in the document.
Anything to mention silver. Anything to mention silver, bro. Anything to mention silver.
adding the phrase, unless it was Silver, with a laughing emoji. Here's
Oh
what Red had to say
my
in the document.
god.
I was open to the idea of exclusivity, but the details needed to be figured out. If Nano chose to keep working with us, we'd always have something for her to do. I asked Nano to clarify, and yes, she suggested we pay her to cancel on 6 other VTubers. I wasn't going to pay Nano just to cancel other projects, except Silvervale, who I said as a joke. But if she chose to cancel them herself, we'd help replace the income with our own stuff. Continuing their conversation in DMs, Nano would say, I think I'll just freak out and cancel all my shit. Red would ask, how much do you have besides our stuff? And this is when we'd see the full list of models on
My god. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. I low-key would have been pissed, chat, if my name was here and I found out they just canceled on me just because. You know what I mean? The amount of fucking... I would have been dragging this shit for days. Oh my fucking god. I would have just been dragging this shit for days. If you don't want the work, why fucking take it in the first place? You know what I mean? Where is Nano's manager? Oh my god, man. Holy shit, dude.
on the chopping block. It would be Obi Katy Cat, 2 Iron Mouse models, Giga,
Two?
Zentrea, Foof.
2 Iron Mouse models. Yeah, I would have been so annoyed. I would have been so fucking pissed, bro. Holy crap, you're still reacting. Yeah, we're picking it back up. Yes.
Block. It would be Obi Katy Cat, 2 Iron Mouse models,
Oh, yeah.
Giga, Zentrea, Fufu, and Megalodon VT. Now, if you're unaware of VTubing or VTubers in general, at the time of this conversation, Iron Mouse, Giga, and Zentrea were all part of Vishoja, one of the biggest VTuber agency at the time. 2 of those models were for Iron Mouse, just by herself, one of, if not the biggest English VTuber on the planet. These weren't just any commissions. I think it's safe to say that any artist of any size would absolutely kill for the opportunity to work on them. Still though, out of curiosity, Red would ask, how much did you want us to pay to cancel everything, lol? And he would make a comment on the document saying, Nano wanted us to pay for her to cancel these 7 commissions for other people. If we were to pay her the price of them just to cancel them, it would have cost us anything from $40,000 to $50,000. Back in the DMs, Red would say, to be honest, I think if you were just to be focusing on Sinder and your own content, plus just drawing art again for Twitter/Patreon, that would do you good. To which Nano would say, that's my dream in all caps. After this, they start to-
I'm not gonna lie, why take the commissions in the first place though? If this artist just sounds really fucking indecisive, bro. Holy shit. Oh my fucking god. Why take the art in the first place? I'm a little annoyed at the artist.
talk about some other things. And then Red would ask, what do you want to work on? 3 minutes later, Nano would say, I'm canceling shit. I need my freedom.
Oh
She would then
my
ask,
God.
Red, should I cancel blank? Say yes or no and I'll do it. I just need a voice. I won't blame.
Oh my fucking god. Okay, so I think by the end of this section, I'm just gonna hate both of them. But I'm literally just gonna hate both of them. Oh my god. I think by the end of this section, I'm just gonna hate both of them. Holy
Red
fuck.
would panic and say, yeah, but I'll have to live with that. Nano misunderstands completely and assumes him saying yeah meant that she should cancel and says,
Oh my
fuck,
God.
okay, I will. Red panics even further, saying, wait, no, that's not what I meant. And Nano would say, that's my own response, not yours. You don't get to say what I do. I'm a free
You
woman.
already don't? I mean, yeah, I already did. I had already did. And then, like, I was slowly leaning to and a little more. I was like, oh, man, I feel bad for Nano. And then now I'm just like, never mind, I don't feel bad for Nano. This is, like, low-key just... If this was my artist, I would have been so pissed. I'm not even joking. If I'm reading all of this conversation and like, I don't know, man. I just don't think that I would want to work with someone that's very indecisive. You know what I mean?
Meant, and Nano would say, that's my own response, not yours. You don't get to say what I do. I'm a free woman. 20 minutes later, Nano would say, okay, I'm free. I canceled so many stuff. Red, in all caps, probably worrying, would ask, what did you cancel?
I was going to say you should... Do not take too much from the buffet if you won't eat it, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. It's like, God.
At least keep blank because that's good advertising for you. The rest should go. Now giving his opinion. But Nano wouldn't budge and said, no, I'm so done for now. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Red would say, Nano canceled everything because she accepted too much, saying she was thinking about doing this for a long time, like she told me 2 months earlier leading up to canceling with Bao. He would then show us the images of her canceling with Bao again. We already saw this in Bao's section. Back in the DMs, Nano would end this conversation by saying, no regrets, honestly. This series of DMs was Red trying to showcase to us that he didn't manipulate Nano to cancel anything, that she took this decision all by herself, even though she implied in her document in April 2025 that she was being manipulated to do so by both Red and Sinder. This was also the first time exclusivity was mentioned, and it was Nano that brought it up, not Red. Now, it is important to mention, and Sinder does that in her document, that Nano is actually following her own rules in her terms of service here. She clearly outlines on her website that she reserves the right to refund the full amount paid if she no longer wishes to work on your project for any reason.
Wait, what does that mean? Like, she's giving the money back, right? That's what it means? Guys, I'm dyslexic. Someone help me, please. She can cancel and refund. Oh, okay. The full amount refund. Okay, I was gonna say, like, wait, she's on the money? Okay, thank God I said someone help, please. I read that like twice in my head and I go, wait, what does that mean?
The right to refund the full amount paid if she no longer wishes to work on your project for any reason. But still, I think
not like some artists out there that take your money. This is so sad.
To say that she was going to wishes to work on your project for any reason. But still, I think it wouldn't be crazy to say that she was going through an internal crisis of burnout and existential dread. Unfortunately, though, the main people who had to pay the price for that were the VTubers who loved her art the most, the ones that were willing to pay thousands of dollars for it. Now, if we're going to be objective, Red's behavior here was fairly reasonable. He saw someone he calls a friend go through such a crisis while bringing up the idea of exclusivity, and he tried to help and understand where she was even coming from. Now, did he try his absolute best to stop her from making such a big decision, though? One that could probably be very damaging to her reputation? That's arguable, but he did recommend that she keep the commission of at least one VTuber in particular because he thought that it would further her brand's reach. The last thing I'll say about the subsection is that I'm not sure whether Red was truly joking when he said the phrase about Silver regarding exclusivity, saying unless it was Silver in regards to paying her to just cancel commissions. But at this point, it's no
a weird way of joking,
even Sinder
bro.
wanted Silver to stop working with Nano, and she's already admitted it in this 1,000-page document. So whether he was joking or not doesn't change anything, right? They wanted to sabotage Silver, period. Anyway, the next 16 pages in Nano's section would be videos, DMs, and tweets, showcasing to us how Sinder not only didn't have a problem with other VTubers who used Nano models, but that she actively did collabs with them and even had some very wholesome DMs with them. The other VTubers showcased in this document were specifically Yoclash and BuffBup. We would also see how Sinder would congratulate Nano whenever she reached a new milestone, like winning the VTuber Parent of the Year award, and Red would also make it a point to praise her other work with other VTubers. Sinder would say the next event in this timeline with Nano was when she and Red made their exclusivity deal. But before we go over that, I want to address why we thought to ask her about exclusivity in the first place. There was another person we were consistently working with, and that was Artist 1. They wanted to discuss a permanent paid position with us and suggested some kind of exclusivity for the work they did. Just like with Nano, Red handled any business-related discussions with them. There is more that happened with Artist 1 in Bao's and Silverveil's sections of this document. We of course saw what happened in Bao's section already, so this is kind of repetitive. In any case, we can see Artist 1 here pitching the exclusivity idea to Red and be talking about how he'd prefer a monthly salaried position over a commission by commission system. Despite the deal up, he'd say that agreeing to this would prevent him from doing things for others that are deemed Sinder exclusive, such as model visual effect work and something else that's blurred in the conversation. Red was intrigued by the idea, and this is what Sinder would have to say in the document. The next time Red and I talked about this, he said we should ask Nano for some kind of exclusivity too. Nano has suggested exclusivity to him in September, and talking to Artist 1 gave him the idea to ask her about it again. So the next step here would be January 15th, 2025, when we already saw most of what happened in Bao's document. Red would tell Nano not to take on new clients, and they would end up agreeing on Nano not working with Silver, Bao, or Cotton. That's it. Sinder, of course, was only aware of Red asking Nano to not work with Silver, not about Bao and Cotton. The next 20 pages are DMs we saw already in Bao's section, in which Red and Nano would negotiate the terms of the deal. Red would be venting about Sacramore, Bao's editor, and how he went exclusive.
B-Man! Thank you for the tier 1 2 months. Thank you.
And Nano would negotiate the terms of the deal. Red would be venting about Sacramore, Bao's editor, and how he went exclusive for her. How Artist 1 would include a section specifically for Silver and Bao, but Red wouldn't push for this to be changed. And how afterwards, very shortly after, less than a month later, Nano would cancel her deal and message Sinder personally to apologize. Now we're on the 11th of April, 2025. Shortly before Sinder would be cancelled. These would again be DMs between Red and Nano, and Red would notice that Nano took on Shy Lily as a client and would ask her if she had any other models with her and others that were planned further down the line. Nano would say no, this is Shy Lily's only one, and that she needed to finish up a few things on another VTuber's model before.
Oh my god, thank you for the 5 gifted! Thank you. What the fuck? You did not have to do that. Thank you. Oh my goodness gracious.
Guys, thank you. Thank you for the 5 gifted, Jay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
On Shy Lily as a
Oh
client.
my
and would
god.
ask her,
Yo, what is happening? Is it Christmas? What the fuck? Guys, B-Man, thank you for the 5 gifted! What the fuck? What is going on? Hello? Hello? What is happening? Hello? Hello? What is going on? Pat, keep your money. It's all the haters giving you money. I'm gonna kick your ass. Jay, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you.
she had any other models with her. And 5, shortly before Sinder would be cancelled. These would again be DMs between Red and Nano, and Red would notice that Nano took on Shy Lily as a client and would ask her if she had any other models with her and others that were planned further down the line. Nano would say no, this is Shy Lily's only one, and that she needed to finish up a few things on another VTuber's model before going back to focusing on existing clients. By now, I'm sure you're aware that Red always messaged Nano to see what projects she was working on. What made this instance special is that he asked Nano specifically when Shy Lily messaged her. In other words, when did their communication begin? He's only ever done this once as far as we know with Silvervale. The reason for him doing it now though would start making sense when we'd see Red's comment in the document. He'd say, I asked Nano about Lily and her other projects.
Jack, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you guys. Stop. I said stop. I said stop. Thank you for the 5 gifted, gosh. Thank you. I'd say that this is weird, but for all I know, that's normal manager things to keep tabs on artists. I don't know, man. I wouldn't know because I'm not a manager. That's like me going to Yami and then, because okay, so Yami's working on mascots for us, but I've told Yami, B-Man, thank you for the 5 gifted. What is happening? Hello? 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 What is happening? Guys, keep your money, please. I don't want your money. Doo-doo-doo. I did this just for you. Stop! Stop! Oh, no. Who the fuck? Stop! Jay, thank you for the 5 gifted. What are we? Are we just like dumping the money here? Why you gift Sinder? is that actually like? But that's an actual person. That's so funny. Gifted in the ult. Is that actually her ult? That's so funny if it was. That's amazing. I'm not gonna lie. That's amazing. My heart dropped when I saw that. My heart dropped when I saw that name in the chat. Oh my god, dude. Stop it, chat. You guys are making me laugh. Stop. The silver page makes me think it could be. Can I click on the name? I'm just gonna click on the name out of curiosity. That's so funny. That is so hilarious. Oh. This person's not even followed. This is like actually like a random. This person's not even followed. It's like an actually like random an account. It just gifted like to like a random person. Wait, yeah, that person's not even following. It's just like, yeah. Nerf! Thank you for the tier 1! Guys, stop, please. We're reacting. Jack, thank you! Jack, thank you for the 10 gifted! Oh my god. Smuff, you're already gifted! You have a sub next to your name! You fuck! You have a sub next to your name! Zach, thank you! Thank you for the 10 gifted. Thank you. Who got me? This guy sucks. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Holy. Oh man. Ooh. Oh man. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the gifts today. Thank you. Thank you, chat. You did not have to do that. Thank you, haters. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, haters, for giving me your money. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, we keep gifting, it'll lose its worth, so stop. How's my red impression? Oh, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Thank you, James, for the gifted. Thank you. Oh. Oh my god, bro. Holy. Oh my god. Pineapple, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Guys. Chat, you guys are hilarious. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. guys are quite humorous. Holy. Oh my goodness.
Making sense when we'd see
Thank
Red,
you
as far as
guys.
we know,
Thank
with
you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the gifts. Thank you, haters. You fools. Thank you, though. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Silvervale. The other words, when did their communication begin? He's only
God damn it, dude. I'm about to like. I got hiccups from all the fucking laughing. James, thank you for the gifted. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, please, no more, please, no more. Please, no more, please, please, please. Please, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. How else can we make you laugh? Your infectious laugh. Guys, leave my laugh alone. Leave my laugh alone. Leave my laugh alone. One more because I'm feeling generous. Thank you, guys. No more, no more, no more. No more, no more, please. Shut the fuck up, Smurf. Jack, thank you for the gifted. Guys, thank you. Oh, we hit the goal. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Wow, we hit the goal. Wow, we hit the goal. Wow. Wow.
Oh my goodness. My rib cage hurts now.
that Red always messaged Tuber's model before going back to focusing on existing clients. By now, I'm sure you're aware that Red always messaged Nano to see what projects she was working on. What made this instance special is that he asked Nano specifically when Shy Lily
You guys are
messaged
quite
her. In other
humorous.
words, when did their communication begin? He's only ever done this once as far as we know, with Silvervale. The reason for him doing it now, though, would start making sense when we'd see Red's comment in the document. He'd say, I asked Nano about Lily and her other projects just like I would any other time, and Nano gave me the information just like she would any other time. I thought that Lily getting a model from Nano could possibly be related to how she was treating Sinder lately. Here's what Sinder would say in the document. That night I saw Red and he told me Nano was working on a model for Shy Lily, but didn't say anything about him asking Nano about it, or that he would. I was happy with the idea that Shy Lily and I were going to be model sisters, especially since we're both part owners of the same company. Red thought we might have to consider that we'd be competing with Shy Lily with the way she was treating me and the fact she was working with Nano now, similar to how things were with Silvervale. I didn't agree. In my mind, Shy Lily and I weren't going to be competing for anything, and this would be another thing we'd have in common to hopefully bring us together. I was only concerned with why she would have been upset with me lately and was anxious about it. So this was pretty much just like Bow. Red took it upon him.
At least.
Thank you for the
Annie02 hype,
babies.
Annie02 hype.
Thank you for the babies.
Okay, I can't help but just not believe any time Cinder says Red just didn't tell me. Yeah, I don't know if I could believe it too, bro. I'm gonna be so fucking for real. I'm gonna AFK channel points while handing out candy.
Yes, 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 yes. Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween, Kanan! Happy Halloween!
Competing for
I'm a
anywhere with
vampire.
Silvervale. I didn't agree. In my mind, Shy Lily and I weren't going to be competing for anything, and this would be another thing we'd have in common to hopefully bring us together. I was only concerned with why she would have been upset with me lately and was anxious about it. So this was pretty much just like Bow. Red took it upon himself to be the shining knight in white armor, protecting his wife from those who seek to harm her, even though according to her, she completely disagreed with him and his logic. The next day, Red would mention Shy Lily to Nano again, and just like the situation with Silvervale, he would start gossiping about one of her clients in regards to Cinder, saying, Hey Nano, do you have more plans with Lily besides just the model, like outfits or merch or anything? Nano would say no, just the model so far. This is when Red would spill the beans and say, okay, her asking you for a model recently just made the antenna go up. She's been acting weird towards Cinder lately, and we don't know if something's going on. In the document, he'd say, I followed up with Nano about Lily because of the way she was acting towards Cinder over the past few weeks. It really
Oh
seemed
my
like Lily
God.
had a problem with Cinder. The DMs would continue, with Red specifying that Shy Lily's
I went to
weird
work for Halloween dressed as a as a depressed person. Oh no. They have you working on Halloween? Oh man.
Welcome to the United States of getting paid.
Thank you for the 100 biddies. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
behavior towards Cinder really had a problem with Cinder.
Thank
The DMs
you.
would continue, with Red specifying that Shy Lily's weird behavior towards Cinder had begun ever since VCard launched, a trading card game featuring VTubers that was sold by Gamersubs. Nano would ask what he considers weird behavior in this case, and according to him, Shy Lily would start to dip out of collabs involving Cinder last minute, as well as more recently ghosting her messages and not thanking her by name when she'd raid her on Twitch. He was confused about this because around the launch of VCard, they were still collabing. We can confirm this since we had seen earlier how Cinder barely made it to Numi's concert because of her VCard collab with Shy Lily. Red found it suspicious how Shy Lily had stated that she wasn't looking for a new model anytime soon, and yet had reached out to Nano recently. He'd then say, I don't know, hate that we keep bringing you into drama, with a crying emoji. Here's what he had to say in the document about this. I didn't lie about anything I said here. Me saying ever since after VCard launched was because around then was the last time I remembered them collabing and talking to each other, like I said after. I remembered Lily saying it was too soon to get a new model around the start of the year, but I didn't consider the 3 to 4 months that passed when I said this. And obviously Lily changed her mind since then. The
She's
conversation
allowed
in DMs
to.
would continue, with Red saying, feels like we're gonna have to compete with Lily if she's ghosting Cinder and wants the same model mama. He then dedicated an explanation in this document just for that sentence, saying, this is the only time I ever said anything to anyone other than Cinder about competing with Lily. If Lily had a problem with Cinder and at the same time started working with our model artist, then yes, we wouldn't be working together anymore. In my mind, we'd be competing with her, at the very least over Nano's time. If Lily wasn't treating Cinder differently, I wouldn't have had any reason to think the timing of Lily's model with Nano was suspect, and no reason to ask Nano anything when she started working on Lily's model. I would have felt the same way about it that Cinder did. Red would keep this conversation going by asking more questions, like for example, is it just Cinder and blank you've been doing continuous model outfits for? And do you know who's rigging Lily's model? He would then apologize for all the questions and say that he has
Okay, I'll be so honest, chat. If I could be completely honest about this, right? Red sucks, and that's like, well, duh, Annie. Duh. See, now he's manipulating. Yeah, he is, because like they claimed throughout this entire fucking document that we had to skim over, right? They claimed that they were like good friends with Red. And they showed all these reasons why they're good friends. Like, oh, we collabed. We always supported the merch drop. We always did this shit. And then you go to here and he's just like being super fucking nosy about who they're going to work with. What? What? He's like, okay, so when did you start talking to Lily though? Interesting. Interesting. And it's like, hello? Friend of my fucking ass. I don't know, man. What the fuck? This is very manipulative. It is. It's like, oh, how can you say that when I've bought your merch and supported your debut and all this stuff? How could you say that I'm a horrible person when I did all these nice things? Okay, manipulating is the wrong word, but he is. Yeah, he is. Well, I feel like he is manipulating her. You know what I mean? Like, that is definitely 100% like manipulation that he's doing. I don't know, bro. I don't like him, man. This is like insane.
to stay informed about our top artist and how there's never a break.
Yeah, he
This is when
is.
Nano would say that he shouldn't stress too much about this, jokingly saying that it's bad for balding. Red would say he'd keep Nano in the loop when it comes to drama because he and Sinder have to stay competitive, even when they shouldn't have to. Nano would again say don't go too far on the competitiveness, it can get bad, gotta chill sometimes, and Red would say, hey, it's not us. Here's how he would explain it in the document. I stayed informed with Nano's plans because of who she was to us
I
in
was
our
correcting
brand.
myself.
It's always
Oh,
been
okay.
that way, and
My
it's
bad.
never been a problem with her. I said we have to stay competitive, as in a general sense with the entire VTuber sphere, even when we shouldn't have to with someone like Lily, who we thought was a friend, now acting this way. Finally, the two would switch the subject and talk about
That's a form of
art-related stuff in
manipulation.
regards to a single
Oh,
model.
okay.
The conversation would end with Red asking Nano about her opinion on design ideas. Here's what Red had to say in the document about that. These are my last messages with Nano. I guess saying anything about Lily was a step too far for her. I don't know why, if she thought I was lying about Lily for some reason, she didn't ask me to verify what I was telling her instead of leaking our messages. I never asked, told, implied, or said anything to Nano about not working with Lily or canceling her model she already started, and I had no intention to. Cinder would also show us the final message she had sent to Nano on the 15th of April 2025 with no response from Nano, asking, "Hi Nano, would you want to come on my stream again sometime?" Cinder would say our partnership was terminated before Nano's document was posted, but not by her. This would lead us to the final event that had occurred in this section. It would happen shortly after Cinder would send her final message to Nano around the 15th and 16th of April 2025. Cinder would say, 3 days after Red's messages with Nano about Lily, and about 10 hours after my message above, Red was added into a group chat by Nano with her new manager. Red was told that effective immediately, Nano would be taking an indefinite hiatus from working with us due to burnout, and explaining away why Red hadn't heard from Nano in days. We knew Nano's manager had always been her husband Mio, so him being replaced and Nano coming to this decision out of nowhere made no sense. I was never added into this chat and wasn't even aware of it happening until the day after when Red talked to me about it. Red would chime in and say, Nano added me to this chat originally since this was the first time I'd ever been in contact with this other person. At the time these screenshots were taken, Nano had already left the chat. The Discord messages of her adding me into the chat and her leaving were gone, and I was apparently made the group owner. Nano never sent a message in this chat and was the original group owner. So just like Red had mentioned, he'd be introduced to Akira suddenly and would find out that Nanolist was going to be taking a break from working on large-scale commissions for Sinder. Akira, who was the new manager of Nano, would say that this decision wasn't made lightly, but was brought forth due to burnout. The entire thing was described as a temporary shift, with Akira stepping in only because Nano struggled to find the right words. Red was of course shocked, but tried to be as understanding as possible, saying that if that's what Nano wants, then he's fully supportive of that. He would mention that the project he was working on with Nano wasn't large scale. It was a fairly small model update and wondering if that would be affected too, to which Akira would specify that everything will be on hold until at least July 2025. The next day, Red, no doubt still really shocked, would message the group chat again asking for more clarification. He'd ask, is Nano taking a break from commissions in general for the next few months due to burnout from back-to-back projects and then things will resume as normal, but maybe with more time between new things? Or after her break, has she decided not to work with us in the scale she has been now, only to take on our projects sparingly so she can pursue other things? Thanks for the help. Akira wouldn't be very helpful, giving very vague answers, saying it's still too early to say, but I believe that when she comes back, she'll be doing smaller scale projects first before transitioning to bigger ones. Red was still wondering, would she still be able to take on projects? Red would again ask, given the timeline, let's say she's back in July, there's something that Cinder needs that needs to be completed by August. Can she actually do that? Would there be enough time? He needed a concrete answer so that he can figure out the next steps for that project. He'd also say, and one more thing, were there any other factors from her perspective that led to this decision besides artistic burnout? Akira would say, I'll bring it up with her. I'm thinking we might have a clearer answer by June regarding a potential start date for the Demon Model update, which was the project Red was referencing. Otherwise, it's probably a bit too early to have that conversation with her. Bear in mind, we were still in April 2025, right? Akira would then say, and no, as far as I understand, it's really just a case of artistic burnout and the pressure she feels to prove herself. Red would explain in the document, I asked Akira more questions and tried to speculate on some kind of timeline when Nano may possibly be able to work with us again, since this threw off our plans for the rest of the year. Then I asked specifically if there were any other factors from her perspective that led to this decision besides artistic burnout, thinking my conversation about Shy Lily with her could have had something to do with this. I was reassured it was just burnout and artistic pressure. Now I know I was right to suspect this. The conversation would continue, with Red wondering if he and Cinder should start looking for a new artist. Akira would say that they completely understand if they can't wait for Nano to recover from burnout and would even assist them in finding a new artist if possible. Red would express that he was simply confused about all of this because to him, Akira made it sound like Nano was breaking up with Cinder, making sure to specify that if she truly only needed a few months to recover, they'd wait for her. An hour later in these conversations, Red would say that Cinder is very distressed after he broke the news to her, while asking for a confirmation that when Nano returns, she would still be willing to work with her. Akira would again give a very vague and non-reassuring answer, mentioning how it's too early to tell, and how once Nano is ready, be it months or a year from now, then he and Cinder will get contacted again. Cinder would say in the document, after Akira's messages, I was heartbroken, distraught, and didn't know where to go from here. Akira asked for Nano to not be contacted, and despite everything, I still respected Nano enough to not
Oh, how the tables have turned. Yes. 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 How the tables have turned. Yes. Interesting.
Cinder would say in the document, after Akira's messages, I was heartbroken, distraught, and didn't know where to go from here. Akira asked for Nano to not be contacted, and despite everything, I still respected Nano enough to not reach out if that's how she felt. Red reassured me that things would be okay and that we'd work with Nano again when she was ready. There was nothing that I could think of.
Is this current drama? This was drama like back in April, I believe, when all this happened. And then she left and then came back. And she dropped like this big document saying like why everyone that made the document are bad people. So yes, this is current drama. We're just we're watching the fucking movie of it.
Come to this decision, and without saying anything to me at all, I canceled my fancy stream I was supposed to have that night, and she would show us the 2 posts she made canceling that stream. In this message, Sinder would say the sub-only stream is canceled tonight because she received some bad news and doesn't have the energy to stream right now. Sinder would say if this was truly what Nano was feeling, even if we were completely unaware of it and she chose not to talk to us at all about it, we still accepted her decision with hopes of working with her again in the future. I was extremely hurt by how Nano went about this. She didn't even give us the courtesy to explain herself after years of working together, and instead sent someone we've never even heard of to say goodbye for her. The last message above was 5 days before Nano posted her document. In these DMs on April 21st, it will be read saying that Sinder was very hurt that Nano hadn't chosen to talk with her directly about this. That both him and Sinder understood that yes, burnout makes sense since Nano was really overworking herself with so many projects. Overall, they just feel like this could have been handled better, or hell, even a compromise that made both sides walk away satisfied, instead of having a long-time relationship feeling like it was upended overnight. He would also reveal that due to the uncertainty of the future, he and Sinder began discussing backup plans with other artists. Akira would reply with a very PR answer saying, I'm also truly sorry the situation came up so suddenly. Nano has been bottling up her feelings for quite a while, and it unfortunately led to a recent emergency hospital visit due to the stress.
Oh, shit.
So, I don't know whether this is true or not. I don't know if Akira just made it up to calm Redacted down, but in any case, 5 days later, Nano would post her document about Sinder. In the document, Sinder would say, Red and I were together when Nano posted her document at 1:45 a.m. EST. She was the first one to post. Around this time, Red sent her a DM saying, Nano please, but deleted it right after. I messaged her, Nano can we talk, but deleted it too. She then removed us as friends on Discord so we couldn't contact her again. So yeah, this entire situation seemed to have been radioactive and was plagued by gossip and unprofessionalism. It shows us that even though we're dealing with very big amounts of money and projects that can touch the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, it still managed to involve high school level antics.
No
I
kidding.
really wonder what you think when it comes to Nano's situation from Cinder's perspective. I wonder if this changed your mind about anyone involved here, and I wonder if you're starting to rethink your life, seeing how far you've made it into this video. In any case, I would recommend silencing those thoughts in your head because we still have a lot to cover, with the next section being about Shy Lily, meant to be directly seen after the whole V-Card and Numi concert incident. But
Okay. Now that we've watched all of it, I think conclusion, 100%, Nano is very indecisive. It is an artist that I would not work with. But more and more, I don't think I said this the first time reading the documents. It was slow burn manipulation. It was 100% manipulation. And reading the documents and then seeing Mujin skip over the parts where they're like, oh, but we were really good friends with Komasiri Nano. So, like, that doesn't make any sense why we could be a bad guy. So it's like, And then reading the full context, constantly involving Nano in drama. No, Nano's fucked up for getting involved in this drama. Constantly involving Nano in the drama. Constantly, like, asking who they're talking to, who they're working with. You know what I mean? That's weird behavior. You talk to them more like a manager than a friend. But I'm a nice guy. I think after seeing this part, yeah, this is quite... Oh, man. This is insane. I will say 100%. I've changed my mind. Just barely, you know what I mean? 100% Nano sucks as an artist in a sense of they're very indecisive. You know what I mean? Nano has no backbone, no spine. So they just take clients and then they regret it later. What is the matter with you? And yeah, no, Sinder and Red just suck as to how they treat their artists. You know what I mean? They let the paranoia, not even paranoia, they let the obsession of two different individuals eat them alive and constantly feel the need to be at competition with them, and then drag their artists involved.